This is Mark Anthony with Mercury Time Price Analytics. Welcome to our end of day video update for Thursday, July 30th. Where do we start tonight? I mean, there are literally so many things to talk about, so many charts. I don't believe I've ever posted so many things on Twitter as today. And by the way, if you want to find me on Twitter, and we'll show this again later in the video, just search for Mark Anthony, Mercury Time Price Analytics, or my handle, which has nothing to do with my name. I didn't think of this years ago when I started Twitter, at MC2085. Our website is mercurysignals.com. You can get in touch with me at markanthony at mercurysignals.com or DM me on Twitter. I will get back to everybody that responds, I promise. All right, so let's start with the NASDAQ. Big earnings today by Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Google, and we're going to show you the Apple chart in a minute. We're going to come back to this NQ chart because we're right up into this Mercury band. I mean, literally, it came within one handle of the Mercury band here at 10,926. We updated these before the Globex open. Let's start with this screenshot. These are the NASDAQ Mercury bands. And first, let me share with you what the Mercury bands are. In fact, let's go to the screenshot of the chart that ties back into. There we go. All right. So this is the end of the day session. I mean the full day session, not at 4 o'clock or 4:15, but 5 o'clock. You can see where NQ closed. And you can see it came right up to the uppermost Mercury band that we posted last night. Now, if you've seen any of our other videos, and please understand, I'm not trying to be bold or braggadocious. If you're taking the time to watch this video, I just want you to know this. There is no suite or system of algorithmic metrics that is as reliable, as accurate, or as actionable as what we publish. The only thing that works this well is the stuff that the institutions have paid millions of dollars to develop. And in reality, you're looking at the same thing. These are the institutional algos. Now, what you see right here are just algorithmic pivots. The other piece of the puzzle is our automated algorithmic long-short system. And literally, this is so easy to use. You can take somebody who has no trading experience, and they will know exactly where the short entries are, the long entries, the short entries. It's a piece of cake. So we give you a lot of stuff. We give you these automated algorithms as part of our service. We run this on a Zoom live chart. All you need is a free Zoom account. And I'm not trying to make this into a commercial. I just want to explain the context of how our customers see this stuff. And I have to stop banging on the table. I do that all the time. It drives my wife nuts. And it's just like it's just something I do. I'm not trying to metaphorically pound the table. But anyhow, you get a free Zoom account with your email address. We give you a new code before the Globex open every night. And you see on your screen a live chart, and this is just one example. And this looks like a lot of stuff, but we have very detailed tutorials to show you how to use this stuff. But this is just one example. We've got two different live charts that we offer our members. So you don't have to sit here all day long and wait and try and figure out, well, is price going to find support at this horizontal algorithmic price, or is it going to go up to this one or this one or this one? You don't have to worry about that. What these pivot levels are, they're just waypoints. Think of a map. These are just destinations on a map so that when you're in a trade, you can manage the trade, take incremental profits, and get some clues, some ideas where the important price points are so you can manage your stops. That's it. But the long short algorithm, it makes all the decisions for you, and we'll get back to this chart in a minute. So back to the point. Here we have the NQ Mercury bands. Now the Mercury bands for the E-mini, the S&P 500, those are updated every night before the Globex Open. Well, NASDAQ, we don't normally need to update them more than once a week. I run them on Sunday. They're posted before the Sunday Globex Open. And because you've got a higher number, 10, 11,000, because you have a larger scale, it's not necessary to redo these every night. The only time I have to redo the NQ futures Mercury bands is when price gets close to either the upper bound or the lower bound, the highest or lowest Mercury band, and then I update them. So last night before the open, I updated them. They were a pain in the butt to run. It normally takes about an hour to run these. It took 3 hours. So these were posted at 7:56 last night. And you can see on our member Slack channel, this is not my computer. This is the actual screenshot of our Slack channel. This is when this was posted. Now, where is the uppermost Mercury band? 10,893. What was the high at 5 o'clock when the futures closed? Right there, folks. How do you do that the night before? I mean, how do you post this SXS, this is so hard, XSV3 algorithm? Now, this was posted back here on the 13th before it got up into this level. And I posted on Twitter, this is the key level to watch as support and resistance, or if it gets price acceptance above that level and then fails. And sure enough, there you go. And this is what I call an algo hook. The machines will come up. They know this is an important level. You go back on the chart, you'll see why. The machines know this is an important level, and because of that, they know these are the kind of levels where people often put their protective stops if they're short, and that's why they do this. And so they'll do these little hooks where it'll go over an algorithmic level and then splat. And here's why they do that. Because before they take it down, have you ever heard the term, the machines are buying them to sell them? See, when they run a buy program or any other type of algorithmic activity, you don't know at the time they're running it whether, let's say it's a buy program, you don't know whether they're running that buy program because they're buying them to buy them or whether they're buying them to sell them higher. Same thing when they run sell programs. You don't know if it's truly initiative selling or if they're just selling them to buy them lower. And don't think that doesn't happen. That is exactly what happens. And it's not market manipulation. I mean, look, if you and I were running a fund and we had a couple $2 billion, would it not be in our best interest to move the market so that we could sell at a higher price or buy at a lower price? Sure it would. It's not illegal. They do it all day long. But the point is, these levels were calculated Sunday afternoon before the market opened. And you saw the timestamp, and I'm not trying to beat it to death, but when I share with you on these videos that there is no more accurate mathematical algorithmic system commercially available for individual traders, we prove it every day. It takes a long time to post the charts that we put on Twitter. I mean, every one of these screenshots takes a good 10, 15 minutes to frame it properly and put the proper labels on there. And, we don't do those for any other reason than that we want to show the world day after day, multiple times a day, that there is nothing else that does this. We put price levels out there before they happen. Now, again, you don't have to worry about predicting price or guessing which one of these levels price may find resistance or may find support. That's what the automated algo is for. That tells you when to get in and I'll tell you the thing about our algo, it is so good that the hardest part about it sometimes is pressing the button, because I cannot tell you how many times the Mercury algo triggered long or triggered short, and I'm looking at it saying, you have got to be out of your mind. I'm not pressing the button. I'll literally sit there and talk to my own algorithm. Now, that, my friends, is why the institutions have replaced over 90% of their formerly human traders. Well, they weren't formerly human. They were human traders. But the human traders were replaced by computers. Computers that not only have sophisticated mathematics, they have machine learning. And so they get better and better and better. So no matter what you do, they learn what you do. They know where you want to put your protective stops, and that's what they do. And one other thing, and again, I don't want to beat this up. If you like these videos, post them all over social media, share them with your friends, get your mom and dad to sit down and watch. I'm just kidding. Here's the point. The Mercury algos are built, designed, and available for individual traders. We have had multiple institutions, believe me when I say this, who have offered to buy parts of this. It is not for sale. They got enough of their stuff. They're not getting this. This is for the little guys, and when I say little guys, I don't mean that as pejorative. I mean folks like you and I. You and me. You and I, you and me, whatever. This is for us. This is to level the playing field. If you're running short on time and you don't have time to watch this whole video, let me just share this with you real quick. If you want to check out our website, it's mercurysignals.com. There's so much stuff posted on here. I mean, literally from a marketing perspective, you know, marketers will tell you just give people enough to get them to make a decision. And I think that's crap. We give you so much information. If you wanted to, you can spend an entire day looking through the stuff on our website. And the reason we put so much stuff up there is we don't want to convince you. We want to prove to you what this thing does day in and day out. I'm sorry. Day in and day out. I'm banging the table again. I'm sorry. But if you go to our website, you can see features and benefits, the chart of the day. One of the problems is we have so many charts to post, it's hard to figure out the one or two to post every day. Market reports, I do those on the weekends. They're very time consuming. I don't do them every week. But if you go back and you look at these reports, I started doing these back the beginning of the year. Everything that happened in February, I wrote about it in January. Everything that happened in March, I wrote about in February. And there's the annoying pop-up. I got to get those under control. It's all right there. Everything's in there. So a couple other things real quick, and we'll get back to the charts. We're running a special right now. You can try out our service for $88. It's a joke. $88 for this. Institutions spent millions of dollars developing this stuff. I don't currently have a webinar. Every stinking page. I don't currently have a free webinar scheduled, but I'll make sure to schedule one here shortly. You just look at this stuff, and I put a lot of stuff right on the homepage. That too is something you're not supposed to do when you build a website, because you want to get people to look around. Evidently, that's what they tell me. I don't care. I don't give a crap. There is so much stuff right here on the main homepage. It's crazy. Now, by the way, last night, I'm going to show you the trade we took last night. We entered, oh goodness, what was it, 32.63, I think. I'll show you that trade in a minute, but let's move on to some other stuff. We're already 14 minutes into this, and I haven't even scratched the surface. Here's a closer look at NQ at the end of the day. I mean, is that close enough? That's ridiculous. And by the way, at the time of this video, we're already short. I got short this evening, 32.68. It was 4 contracts. I've taken profit on a couple of them, moved the stop to even. So even if they run it up and take my stop, partial profits are locked in. Risk is out of the trade. And by risk out of the trade, I mean the stop is at even, meaning the entry price. So that trade's working. They'll probably stop me out of it. I don't care. We'll see what happens. Next one, automated algo. Now, this particular screenshot goes back to Tuesday evening. Here's your short entry. Here's your long entry. Here's your short entry. All right, now, and this, I don't want to do a whole video on the oscillator. I'll probably do that this weekend. I'll do a whole video. How's that? I'm going to make a note to self. Do a video this weekend for just the automated oscillator. But let me give you the Reader's Digest version for those of you old enough to remember Reader's Digest. I'm pushing 60. Anyhow, it's real simple. The two main components of this are this cyan line. This is our proprietary momentum algo. All right. Now, that's one of the two main components. The other one is you see these little white dashes. There's two of them on every bar, every price bar. That is our proprietary volatility metric. So what happens here is you need two things for the algo to trigger a long or short entry. One is you need a directional change in the slope of the cyan momentum algo, okay? Now, there's only three things that constitute a change in the direction of slope. Either the slope changes from down to up, as in the shape of a U, from up to down, as in the shape of an inverted U, or the slope of the momentum algo is going sideways, and then like the proverbial fork in the road, it either turns up or turns down. Now, all that directional change does is it puts the system into the ready state. It tells you, heads up, there may be a trigger soon. Where the trade actually triggers, in the case of a short, is when these little white volatility dashes, after you have the change in the directional slope, after they cross down through. And the opposite on a long. Slope of the momentum algo changes from down to up. Now you're in the ready state. Here's your crossover. Now the beauty of this is that you don't have to chase it, because sometimes you get a nice gradual roll, a nice gradual entry like right here. And sometimes you get an impulse move, and right here where it triggered, well, you don't want to be shorting it down here. You can, sometimes that works. But what makes this system so devious in a good way is that it is actually purposely built to find bull traps and bear traps. And if there's a bull trap, you want to be short. If there's a bear trap, you want to be long. And what you'll see a lot of times in this algo is those bull and bear traps will happen after the algo triggers. So here the algo triggers short. All right, well, you don't have to worry about chasing it, because price comes down here. What is that level? 32.07 Tuesday night. And then people are thinking, hey, the rounding at 3,200 is held time and time again. You see this spike bar up, and then you see this other spike, and people are saying, yeah, baby, right here, huh? You're gonna get into this thing. You're gonna say, okay, here's a little trend line. That's a bull flag, right? So you see this long upward bar, and boom, you're long right there. Uh-oh, what happened? Bull trap, bang. Now the algo was short up here, so you didn't have to chase it down here. If you get a nice gradual entry here, fine. You can take that entry as soon as it triggers, but you don't chase it. Same thing here. All right. So, oh, by the way, and one of the bits of secret sauce in this is the volatility metric. See, most traders are confused about the functioning and the utility of volatility. You know, people think volatility, they think VIX, right? And what people do is they look at the VIX or at volatility in absolute terms. They look at what the number is. Well, that's not the deal. What's important about volatility isn't the level of volatility itself. What's important is the second derivative. Let me repeat that. What's important about volatility is the second derivative, and here's what I mean. The absolute price of volatility, or VIX, or whatever volatility metric you're using, it doesn't matter. What matters is the second derivative, and that is volatility relative to itself, meaning, okay, volatility right now compared to what volatility was a half an hour ago, an hour ago. Because what you want is you want to get into a trade when volatility is about to expand in the direction that you're trading. If you're trading long, you want volatility to expand and push price upward. If you're getting short, you want volatility to be compressed. And once you get short, you want volatility to expand downward. Well, every time, and these always happen in this order, you always have the momentum algo turn first. And then after that, what happens is the volatility metric, notice how wide they are on the way up. And notice how they start getting real close together. And then right here, they're completely merged. And here they're completely merged. See, they always get really close together just as they're crossing through the momentum algo. You starting to get it? So now you're short at the very time that we have a change in the direction of momentum from up to down, and you're getting short at the precise moment where volatility is as compressed as it's going to get relative to where it just was. Volatility was expanding here, it's contracting here, now it's expanding again. Same thing in the opposite down here. Price is coming down, you run these stops down here, the algos do, and volatility is expanding. See the width between them on each bar? And then what happens after the momentum algo turns up? Notice how they get really close together. They're completely meshed, crosses over, and then it expands. Now, here's the other thing it does. All right, so now what happens to these folks that were long right here, thinking this was the one that was going to go? Well, a lot of those folks are going to say, well, you're not going to beat me again. You come up here, you make a new high, and now you come down here. Now I'm getting short. All right, well, if you were long here, thinking that this was a little flag pattern or even a little symmetrical triangle, and you got long, you were wrong. And if it came up here and took out this level and you're seeing, I'm going to draw a little trend line or resistance price and say, okay, here's the high of these bad boys. I'm going to take this and move this right across here. Uh-oh, I am shorting this right below that bar. Now I'm short. Oh, it didn't take out my stop yet above here. Now it's working. Now it's working. And maybe you don't take incremental profits. And then what happens? It comes back up here. Now let's say hypothetically your stop is above this bar. And it comes up here and it didn't take you out and you thought you had some profit. And then it comes up here. And then it comes down. And then it comes here. And then it comes down and you think you got a good trade again. And what happens is it starts to inch back up toward your stop. What do most traders do? They move their stop. Now, what happens when you move your stop is you become the squeeze. And here's what I mean. If you wanted to short here and put a stop anywhere in here, that's cool. But don't go moving your stop. Because if you had a stop here and then price comes up here and you said, okay, I'm going to move it, I'm going to move it, I'm going to move it, I'm going to move it. Well, the people who honored that stop there, they've already get stopped out. And when their short got stopped out, that added upward momentum because not only do you have buyers, but you've got the short stops here that are also buying. And then it comes down here, and let's say you moved your stop up to here. So you were short here with a stop here, and then you move your stop up here, and then it goes up here, doesn't take your stop because your stop that was here is now up here. And then it comes down here and you're saying, moving that stop higher on my short was the smartest thing I could have done. And then what happens? It comes back here. Oh, by the way, it finds support right at the upsloping momentum algo. That's not good. So now your stop that was here is up here, and then it comes out and it takes out this. Now what happened? It took out the folks that had their short stops above here. Only you're moving your stop again, and then eventually you say, the heck with it, you get rid of your stop, and then bang. See, trading can be really stressful and really frustrating and give you a lot of gray hair, if you're sitting there trying to make 1,000 decisions a day, want to make trading fun? Number one, trade less. Pros don't take 50 entries a day. They don't. Pros are looking for the 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 highest probability trades of the day. And there's some days where you don't even take a trade. Or maybe you take one trade and you scratch it for no gain or loss. That's number one. Trade less. Number two, be patient. I got news for you, friends. Market's going to be here tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, God willing. You don't have to try and overtrade. The fastest way to blow up your account is to overtrade. Fastest way to do it. Number three, don't be the squeeze. All right? You know, and I'm not, if you want to try our service, God bless you, we would love you to. But even if you don't, I like to always give you tips that hopefully will help you with your trading. So that's the automated algo. We're already running long on this video, so I'm not going to get in these regression lines. We'll get to these another night. So let's blow through these last couple of charts. All right. This level here at 58 is a big deal. Price is just coming right up into it, and looks like it's trading 68, but it had come down to the high tonight, which was, call it 73, traded down to about 55-ish. Now it's trading up above 68. This level here, I want you to watch this level all throughout tomorrow's trading. This is a really, really big level. You can find this chart on my Twitter feed, but you've got a lot of things going on here. You've got long cycle oscillators that peaked here, and that provides resistance after this break, as well as this is the spot where they crossed over. I'm just looking at the market here. All right, sorry about that. So I want you to keep this level at 58 in mind for tomorrow all day. Next chart, these are the updated NASDAQ futures Mercury bands for tonight. And you can see, I showed you in the beginning of the video, it's trading up into this level now. Just took this out, so be on the lookout for 10,959. And I will bet you, now I'd have to look at a longer cycle to be precise, but just eyeballing this right now. That level there, let's call that 10,009. Let's just call it 10,965, 68. That may be a level to watch. All right, here's Apple. I wanted to comment on Apple. You know, the thing traders are trying to figure out all week long is, what is the new big selling point that Apple's going to have on their earnings call? Because we know that their metrics have been declining for a couple of years in terms of profit margin growth. We know that every time they come out with a phone, yeah, they're great products. I mean, we've got 4 kids, my wife and I. Our house is filled with Apple products. I mean, you know, you can't walk into a room without stumbling over one of them. They're great products, okay? But every time they come out with a new phone, it gets more and more expensive. And here's the thing. Did you get to some point in your life of computer use where, as computers got better and better and faster, you had to upgrade them less and less and less frequently? So this is the deal with Apple. Every earnings call, they have to come up with this sales pitch. We're trying to figure out what the sales pitch was, and there was some thought that they were going to come out and talk about the lifetime value of a customer, you know, trying to show the kind of revenue that's generated for each customer. My personal opinion is they thought better of that because it reminds people of how much they spend on their Apple products and services. So instead, they came out with this nifty idea. I've been trading for 37 years. This is a new one to me. It's called what is it called? A stock split? Now, folks, listen, if you're my age, pushing 60, you remember the late 90s? Stock split, stock split, stock split. Does the value of that underlying enterprise change just by virtue of a stock split? Let me ask you a question. And I posted this on Twitter. No, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but I thought this perfectly made the point. Inspired by Apple's earnings call and in deference to the poor economic data we saw this morning, I will be selling 4 quarts of milk for the price of 1 gallon. First come, first serve, move fast, we're selling out quickly. What? So I could care less about a stock split. Now, you have to pay attention to it because it moves price. But I'll tell you what, there is all kinds of stuff that is saying potential bull trap tomorrow on Friday, July 31st. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, if you like to trade Apple, we publish part of our service because we provide so many different things. Not just the Mercury bands, not just the horizontal pivots, not just the automated algo, but every morning before the market opens, we publish the daily algo bull bear pivot, the single most important price on the board for S&P futures, for NQ futures, and for SPY if you like to trade SPY options or QQQ. We also publish it for Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Intel, NVDA. Here's the daily bull bear pivot this morning on Apple, 377.95. That would have been a good trade, huh? I mean, there was no point today where you were losing money on that trade, literally. 377.95. Boom. And you know, if you didn't want to make an up or down decision at the bull bear pivot, well, oh, by the way, here's the automated algo on Apple. There is no algo that does this, none. So the algo triggered right here. Now, again, like I said earlier, you don't chase it. You wait for a pullback to the momentum algo. And granted, it didn't give you much chance. I mean, the only pullback you had to the momentum algo was into the close. So, and look, I'm not going to tell you I'm a genius. I didn't buy it. There was no way on earth I was going to buy that. I'll wait for the next train to come around, but I'm not. I didn't do that. If you did, awesome trade, well done. I didn't do it, but this is what I was talking about earlier. I cannot tell you how many times the algo has triggered, long or short, both ways, but I cannot tell you how many times the algo has triggered an entry, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And if there was no way I had the guts to press the button here, I sure as heck didn't have the guts to press the button to buy here. But this is why, like I said earlier, that the institutions have replaced human traders. Price is now trading up as we speak to 32.68 quarter. The next level above that I want you to keep your eye on is 32.75.33, and there's levels above that too. They can run this thing higher if they want. Do we have anything else to cover, my friends? This was what I was talking about earlier. Important level at 58. Just before I started this video, it actually ES had traded down to call it 55, 56, and now it's traded back up. So keep an eye on 32.75.33. That's going to be pretty much it for tonight. Let me show this to you again. This is our website, mercurysignals.com. Twitter at MC2085. I started on Twitter long before we developed the algos. Maybe it would have been a good idea to put something that either said, oh, I don't know, Mark Anthony or Mercury or Mark Anthony time price, whatever. It's not in there, but you can search for me on Twitter. This is the actual Twitter handle at MC2085. This is my email address. Again, I do recommend you check out our website. We're running a special offer. Go to the subscription page. You'll see the pricing. We bill our members bi-weekly, not monthly. First of all, there's no contracts. Zip, zero, nada. But we bill you bi-weekly, not monthly. So, I mean, you're not even committing to a month. So you can try our service for 14 days. We've got a $40 off coupon. I don't want to mention on this video what the price is, because if someone's watching this video a month from now and the rates are different, don't want to do that. But it's a joke. It's a joke what we're charging for this service. Now, one of the things that we do to protect you, because prices will be going up substantially, if not in August, by the end of the summer. The cool thing is we give you a promise that we will keep, and that is we will never raise your price from whatever the membership rate was when you originally subscribed. All right. So whatever the rate is now, you get to keep it until eternity, or until you decide to quit, but there are no contracts. But please check that out. I didn't close the last video this way, and I felt bad about it. So let me just take a couple seconds and say this. I don't know of anybody who isn't struggling right now, either struggling with their job, struggling within their family, struggling in their marriage, having a tough time with their kids. I mean, you know, I mentioned earlier, we got 4 kids. What's being done to our kids right now is nothing short of child abuse. Trying to decide whether they can go back to school. And I'm not going to mention anything about that virus, because I don't want this now 36-minute video pulled. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject. The point is this. I almost died back in February of 2019. And I mean got real close. Got some kind of mystery illness. And nobody knew what was wrong. The doctors couldn't diagnose anything. Well, the problem was I literally couldn't eat for over 3 weeks. And I'm a big dude, 280 pounds. Fortunately, I'm 9 feet tall, so I'm very slender. But they didn't know what was wrong. And I've been a Christian all my life. I thank my parents for that. If you ever see the commercials from the My Pillow guy, and I'll wrap this up quick, he's got a commercial about his recently written autobiography, his memoirs. And Mike Lindell said, the first time I saw this commercial, I about fell off my chair. He said, I've spent my entire life using mathematics to prove the existence of God. You know how this started? With a Bible study of the Old Testament. You ever heard of a fellow named W.D. Gann? That's how he started, my friends. Bible study. Old Testament. Dug real deep, did a lot of research, found out there are immutable mathematics in the Old Testament that will not only tell you some very important things about the concept of time itself, and time is more important than price, and that is why these systems do what nothing else does. But that's how this came about. There was never any intention, motivation, desire, or thought to create a system of algorithms. When I almost bought the farm, February of 2019, I got to a point one night where I said, Lord, this is exactly what I said, my friends. I said, Lord, I don't know if you're going to call me home tomorrow. I mean, I literally could barely get out of bed to walk to the little Cowboys room. And I said, Lord, I don't know if you're ready to call me home tomorrow. But if you are, I'm ready. But if you're not, I'm going to change the way I live my life. And you got to forgive me, because it breaks me up every time I tell this story. But here's the thing about Mike Lindell. Not only did he say, Mike Lindell, I've spent my life using mathematics to prove the existence of God. But he also said and here comes one of his commercials as I speak. But what he also said that blew me away, the announcer said, in his book, Mike will talk about his 14 near-death experiences. I haven't had 14, but I'll tell you what, if he's had 14, and hypothetically, if that's the most anyone's ever had, I've had real close to that, real close. And this is the time that I didn't think I was going to make it. And so after that, I started a deeper study of the Old Testament. And God revealed things to me in this system. You know, I made, every once in a while I make a joke after I post one of these charts and post it on Twitter. This isn't rocket science. It's just astrophysics. It is. The same mathematics that govern the sun and the planets and gravitational pull and mass and energy, and listen to these two words, frequency and vibration, exist all throughout nature. And it is no less compelling, important, or profound than the golden ratio or the Fibonacci number, whatever you want to call it. There's math sequencing in the planets. Now, the reason this is called Mercury doesn't have anything to do with the planet Mercury, although Mercury does have to do with the astrophysics part of the math. It's because what I found is that the same mathematics sequencing that is in astronomy, not astrology, astronomy, and I'm not saying anything bad about astrology. That's not the point. I'm talking about astronomy. The same mathematics that are in astronomy exist in the periodic table of elements if you know which ones to look at. And you look at the relationships between those elements. It's the same math. Well, it made sense to me because I figured, well, if the universe was created, yeah, there was a Big Bang. My question is, who put the pieces in motion for the Big Bang? See, here's the thing, and again, I don't want to get off on evolution or everything else. Here's the thing that evolutionists won't tell you. I believe there was a Big Bang, but I also believe that God put the pieces in place for that reaction to occur. Because the thing about people that talk about evolution, they want to pick the starting point. All right, what happened before that? Extend the timeline backward. They can't do that. They can't answer that question. Nobody can. Only God can. The same math that exists in the creation of the planets exists in the very elements that are in those planets. Seems logical, huh? I said all that to say this. And let me stop the arrogant tone for a minute. If you're going through a tough time right now, or your family's going through a tough time, or your marriage is going through a tough time, or your kids are having anxiety issues, and I mean, how can they not with what's going on around them? And you've never thought, you know, is there something bigger? I urge you, more than any of this stuff about trading or algorithms or anything else, I urge you to think about inviting God into your heart.